Shalom Aleichem, everybody, and welcome. Now you see it's the summertime. People are out relaxing, having a good time. So it's a time to stop for a second and think about something serious. The Rebbe brings from Peilush Svarim that Tammuz is a Rosh Hashanah, Zman Tshuva Mamash Meshubah. It's time, obviously, we're not too far from Rosh Hashanah, but even Tammuz time, especially for the Lubavitcher Chassidim, Gimel Tammuz, Yud Beis Tammuz, are all days to think for a second what to do to stay in the right direction. Now, we sometimes get caught up with all the huplap and all the excitement before. So I'll tell you a beautiful mashal. I read lately that the veteran mashpia, Reb Peretz Mushkin once told somebody by a Farbrengen, he saw somebody who really was very loud and arrogant. And Reb Peretz Mushkin didn't usually have this nature of telling people off, but this guy was really irking him. So he pulled him aside, and he told him, "I'll tell you a story." 1 sec, let me put my hand down. I'll tell you a story. The story is like this: when they used to only have sailboats, that was the nature of the boats, sailboats. When they came out with the first steamboat, everybody was going crazy to see how the steamboat works. The people were so excited. So Vayhi Yom in this town, the announcement went out that anybody wants to see a steamboat in operation, come Sunday 10 o'clock, and you'll see, and you'll get all your answers. Hundreds of people lined up and waiting for this great sight to see a new thing, a steamboat. Sure enough, they see a boat out there, and they're all looking at it, and wow. 10 o'clock, they hear the first sound, and the place is going nuts, and everybody's excited. 10:02, the second sound, and 10:05, the third sound, and everybody is flabbergasted, and they're waiting to see it move with the steam. And by Yella they know the boat doesn't move. They're all, what's going on? Until they hear the voice of the captain, and the captain says that, sorry, we're stuck. Why are we stuck? We didn't realize, and we used up all the steam for the horn. So now we have no more steam to move the boat. So sometimes we get too excited in all the room, all the what's supposed to lead up to the core, and you forget when it comes to Maisa B'Poil, to action, you're all oiskafiffen. So we have to stay focused and know what to do. Let's talk about the Parshias. It says in Svarim that there are 3 Parshias, one after another, that speak about a new opening. Parshas Kairach, we find the Pi Ha'aretz, the land, the earth opened up and swallowed Kairach. Next week's Parsha, you talk about the Pi Ha'Be'er, the well that traveled with the Yidden, and anytime they needed water, they had water. And the third Parsha after is the Pi Ha'asin. A donkey usually doesn't talk, but in the story of Bilam, the donkey's mouth started talking. Just as we find 3 Parshas with the same theme, we find another theme that in a couple of Parshas, one after another. And that is the importance of Isha Kshera, a kosher wife, meaning a good wife that sets straight the husband on the right direction and keeps him focused. We find this in 3 Parshas. And last week's Parsha, we find that when Moshe Rabbeinu davened for Hosea, he said, he's going to add 2 letters to his name, Yud K, because you need a special tefillah. We don't find that he davened for Kalev. Why not? So one of the Litvish Gedolim says a very phenomenal vart. He said Yeshua was a bacher. Since he was a bacher, he had nobody to daven for him. So Moshe Rabbeinu felt that he has to add a tefillah, add something to his name for this extra protection. Kalev already was married, and because Kalev was married, Moshe Rabbeinu felt he has his wife who's going to take care of him and daven for him, and all her tefillahs will protect her husband, which is a phenomenal thought. And in this week's parsha, we have the same thing. Oin ben Peles. Originally he was going to be dragged into the machlokes of Kairach, But the Medrash says his wife saved him. His wife says, "What are you getting mixed into a fight that you have no gain? You're not going to win. If he wins or he wins, stay out of the fight." And because of the wife, he was saved. We actually find a parsha earlier, another issue with a woman with Aaron and Miriam when they spoke lashon hara about Moshe Rabbeinu. However, that plays itself out. Either way, from 3 parshas, we find the power of a woman and how she not only is a tzaddikus in herself, how she can have effect on the surrounding around her. Now, Baruch Hashem, this is also the chasna season, so I want to share with you a word about chasna. The Gemara says that in Ma'arava, and for whatever reason the Mefarshim say why only Ma'arava, they would ask this question. A day or two after the chasna, they would turn to the chasna, they would say, Matzah or moitza? Matzah or moitza? Matzah means did you, and it was a riddle. Your marriage, was it matzah or moitza? What do you mean by that? In one pasuk it says, Matzah isha matzah toiv. They find a woman, it's good for you. You're lucky. Moitza is a pasuk where it says very negative things about a woman. Moitza ani isha mar mi mavis. God forbid. Sometimes you could get stuck with a woman that's terrible. That's even worse than death. So they would ask the chassan. Imagine, tell me, are you lucky? Was it a matzah or was it a moitza? There's a story of Rameya Simcha Kohen from Dvinsk that once he had a Kohen student, and by the chasna he gave him a bracha. My bracha to you is that because you're a Kohen, it should be, he quoted the pasuk, V'kamatz ha-Kohen, by a mincha it says the Kohen would take a kmitza. So he says, I give you a bracha that it should be V'kamatz ha-Kohen, that the Kohen should do the kmitza, but he didn't mean kmitza, he meant that by you there should be a kamatz. Instead of moitza, which is a negative wife, you should have matzah, which is a kamatz, which is a matzah isha matzah toiv. Now, everybody asks, and there's many speeches about this, many svarim, what's the difference? When is a matzah isha matzah toiv, and when is moitza ani mar min amavis? So one answer is, by the first one it says matzah isha, you found a wife, and you find a wife to be a partner, and you're in this together. You're willing to bend, she's willing to bend. You're willing to learn from her, she's willing to learn from you. The second one, it also says you found a wife, but it has one more word in there. Moitza ani. When you have your ani, your selfishness, you're not getting anywhere. You have to throw out the ani, and then your marriage will be successful. And then if you have too much ani in there, the marriage will not be a successful marriage. But then I did see a word from the Chassam Sofer, which I thought it was a phenomenal word. The Chassam Sofer says, what is the gematria of Ish? Aleph Yud Shin is 311. What is the gematria of Isha? Aleph Shin Hey? 306. What's the difference between 306 and 311? 5. Why is a woman 306 and a man 311? Because a man has a chiyuv of 5 more things that a woman doesn't have. Which 5? A man has the chiyuv of the chamisha chumshei Torah. There's no mitzvah Talmud Torah for the women. There's only a mitzvah. Says the Chassam Sofer. When it's matzah isha, when you find a woman that's living her life of isha 306, she knows what's expected from her. She doesn't look to be equal with you in limit Torah. Then matzah toiv. But when moitza ha-isha, we have an extra hey. She thinks she's also a rebbe. She's also like, she has an opinion also in Talmud Torah. That's not right. That's where the pasuk says that's not a successful marriage. A successful marriage is when everybody knows what their duties are, responsibilities, minat Torah, and what the man has to pitch into the marriage, and what the woman has to pitch into the marriage. And when they join this together, then it's a binyan adayad.